I think about my mom as well because she was very she was a very giving person as well.
Mhm.
So to her, I see where I get the hosting. I love to have, and I was just sharing that with him yesterday. How like the last one was Super Bowl,
Yes.
and to me, cooking it fulfills me. It's a lot of work, but I don't feel it till afterwards because I enjoy making a lot of food for everybody, and I think I just felt like everybody's all together,
Yes.
and that's what I felt at my mom's
Mhm.
birthday parties, Christmas, holidays. People would come to her house talking about
Yeah,
friends,
but you mentioned
cousins.
the Super Bowl party and how you're welcoming, but you
Hmm.
were also trying to throw Sandra
Oh
out of the
gosh.
house.
Oh,
You opened
that
up the
that was
gate
with
for her, right?
I did, but I was with love.
I did sit out of the house. I did because I couldn't stand the reflection of the red jersey so much in my side view, my peripheral. So I had to go outside and sit with
See,
the guys.
and that is trust right there. If you know that you can push each other's buttons and not take it personal, that's love, and that is trust.
Because the previous game, you were telling Dora
To
to
go
get
sit
out of the house,
outside
sit outside.
because they were playing the Texans and they won. And so Dora showed up with her Mahomes
My
jersey,
jersey.
and I asked her to go sit outside on the outside of the window.
Yeah, I had it. Somebody encouraged me to wear a jacket over and unzip it. So
Wow, who was that? I mean, who would tell
Uh-huh.
you to do something
he
Your
like
would
that?
tell
faithful
me,
husband.
yeah, he said, wear a jacket so you can surprise him even better. No, his the words were, it would be funny if you wear a jacket. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, when you try to do that Beyonce
Yes.
unveiling and I thought you were pregnant.
Oh my gosh. And I said, I was surprised. Look, yay. But
Yeah,
yeah.
no.
No,
But
no.
so you're a follower because you followed everything
Oh
I
my
said.
gosh.
That was just so easy to
It,
do.
it was something done in fun. So I'm like, sure, let's go ahead and prank him.
Yeah. It's always fun when you have an opponent. It's not fun when everybody's going for the same team. I mean, it
Hmm.
could be, but
Hey, I still love my Texans no matter what. But
yeah,
that day, it was my quarterback. So
yeah.
I show my support on that day for him. If the Texans are playing anybody else, it's Texans.
All right. Well, you're
Sure.
going back. You were talking about how you like to your host because your mom hosted, but also our Aunt Mary was the one
Hmm.
who would bring the family together and have these parties, have these
Oh, I
Christmas
remember that
parties. I remember
too.
Christmas parties, and be at their house because they had a huge backyard.
Yes.
That
Yeah.
backyard never stopped.
Yes.
I mean, that was just crazy how much
I
that
was
backyard.
lucky enough as well to have lived that. The Thanksgiving at the Amarys, the Christmas at the Amarys, the Easter. So those are traditions that just fill me, and I was happy. So when I started dating, we started going out and going over for the holidays. I love that because we didn't do those Saturday Easters. So
Mhm.
to me, it was like that is so much fun.
Mhm.
And then we used some of those
Mhm.
games,
Mhm.
and then it helped our Sunday Easters become bigger and fun.
Right.
Yeah,
We
especially
were
the volleyball.
Oh
We
yeah,
would do
the
volleyball a
volleyball.
yeah,
lot.
because ours was, of course, my mom cooked again. A lot of
Yes.
food, piñata, cascarones. But now we added volleyball, and then we added games like balloon toss,
Yeah.
things
Yeah, you
like
did a
that.
lot of that stuff at your mom's house.
So we combined both, and I think that's something that grew, from there. So I'll give credit where it is, and that was from her.
Yep. And you were actually able to go to one of our large picnics at
Oh yeah.
Easter.
Yeah, Easter transitioned to Castroville.
Yes.
And so for many years, we had our Easter picnics, our annual Easter picnics in Castroville. It even got to the point where we had shirts made every year,
Yes.
and we had a couple
I
of acres
remember
out
those
there.
purple T-shirts that had the
Yes,
bunny
the
in the front.
bunny, and we had volleyball tournaments,
Mm-hmm.
and
Do we have a water gun fight there or no? Was
we
that
had yes, I believe so. There was different games that we had, and I love and a beautiful memory for me is just remember all these cars pulling up and more
Oh
people getting out. And
yes.
it's, oh, those are so and so's friends. Oh, those are so and so's friends. And like, okay, cool. So we
I
had,
remember
extended
that.
family. Then we had friends of our extended family, which was awesome because then we all
It
became
just
friends.
it was like a long line of cars. I
Yes,
remember
a
that.
lot of cars. And they were there from like noon till about well into the night because then we had the bonfire. And so it was good. Those
It
were
was
very good
nice.
memories. And it was, Castroville back then, it was just a 30-minute drive. It wasn't too bad. So
Yeah.
it was really good. Those are really, really good memories.
I think my last Easter there that I got to spend, I was pregnant with our first baby. So that's telling you how many years we were dating and then engaged and then married. And then
Mm-hmm.
my last Easter there that I remember, I was pregnant with my daughter. I was like 5 months pregnant. And I remember because Aunt Mary gave baskets to all the kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she brought me a little basket, crochet
Oh.
basket that I saved to this day she says, for the baby.
Oh.
So I'm just saying that's a tradition
Awesome.
that I still embrace because I didn't think they were going to give me credit because, baby in the
Yeah.
oven. And
Yeah.
she's like, no, your baby counts. I was like, oh, shut up about
Yes.
my baby.
You know what's funny is I only remember one Easter there.
What the hell?
I seriously thought it was just one Easter.
Years.
No,
I have
because
multiple Easter
My memory is not there
shirts.
with all that.
yeah, because I remember it was before we got married.
Yeah, I
Because,
remember before we got married. Yes.
and then when we got married, because it's the one that we posed with Manuel and Elsie where
Oh
I have
yeah,
like the luau
luau. It was a
dress.
luau theme. We had different themes,
Yes.
and then we also had Easter at the base. Remember, we had
That's
the
what I'm talking about.
Easters
The
at the
big Easter
base.
party. Big
I don't
Yeah.
Easter.
think I made it to that. I think it was Mary's and Castroville.
Well, because Meme and Elsie weren't married yet either when we had
Okay,
them at the
then
base, and we were younger.
I wasn't around there. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't remember either. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
He's like, I don't even remember being there.
Now we'd have it. We'd have it there all the time. And then we played softball there too.
You,
We
you
had
never
softball
went there?
games to the base.
The base?
I don't
Picnic?
remember.
I don't remember.
I remember
Yes.
going to the festivals at the base.
What was it? Kelly Park, right?
Yes.
The
Yeah,
park was
Kelly
Kelly
Park.
Park. Yeah.
So I remember being to the festivals, but that wasn't me.
Oh, yeah. It was the festivals.
It wasn't me.
He's like, okay,
I don't
we're gonna.
know.
He's like, we're gonna cut right now.
That was
Yeah,
BD before Dora.
I'm trying to remember.
I
to tell
don't-
you the
I don't
truth. Because
remember.
we've gone to activities, but I don't know if I'm thinking that it's the festivals. And I know you did my 30th there one year. So
We
I
had my
don't know.
parents' anniversary.
Oh,
something
when we
there
did your
too.
30th was a different place, though.
Oh.
It wasn't
Oh, it
there.
wasn't at Kelly Park.
I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. I think actually I remember Thea Mary's, but then I want to say I did do one.
No,
year.
you did do one. It was where we did have the 30 party, but because Manuel was there and we were doing the time, and it was the bird.
Oh, the
time.
OE.
So maybe it was the first one was
Jungle
there,
Love.
and then this following at
Jungle Love.
Thea's, and then Casserole.
Yes,
something like that.
So see, you did go.
Because I'm saying I was like I kind of want to say yes because I remember light purple T-shirts and I remember dark purple T-shirts with the
Then
bunnies.
there's teal shirts. We have
See, so you did go.
tie dye shirt. Like I have a
He
bunch
feels
of them.
better. He's like yes.
He's
Whew, she did go. Broke a sweat right there.
Yes. So,
That's funny.
but those were the best ones. The
Yes.
best picnics was at the military base. and-
Yes.
Yeah, those are good things that we all get those traditions from,
Yes.
because those were installed with our families. And at that point, we were young.
Yes.
So we're just took it for granted. Oh, we're going to have this every year. But you didn't realize that they're not there forever, those
No.
traditions.
And people get older.
And people get older
And
and they
people
get
die.
tired.
And they die.
And they die.
Yeah. And I think it's been a challenge to try to keep those kind of traditions alive with whatever family that we can. So that has been a challenge. But the ones that we do still do, they're just
Yeah.
as fun. They're not maybe as elaborate as they were because there's not that many of us, but
Yeah.
they're still fun and memorable.
They
And
are fun. And I think if we continue, even though that now we're basically 15 of us compared to 50,
yes,
but if we continue those traditions and talk about them the way we are now to our kids,
mm-hmm.
then that gives me some peace and joy that our kids are going to embrace that as well and share that
yes,
with each other when we're
Yes.
gone.
Yeah, because we are actually at their age, our grandparents' age, or not grandparents, our aunts and uncles' age, maybe a little bit older.
I'm like,
Actually,
Yeah,
you're
we're a little bit
right.
older
You wanna cut the
because our
grandparent-
kids are at our age. I'm sorry, I meant to say our kids are at our age.
yeah, our kids are, well,
I
Maybe a
think
little bit
our-
older.
No, they're
No, the
older. They're a
the
little bit older right
yeah,
now.
I think our parents, your parents, were younger because they had y'all
You
younger.
pump the brakes on the grandpa, okay, and grandma.
I know.
We're
Like
not that.
I try to bring it
Like
back.
I'm not there yet, okay?
I try to bring it
We're
back.
not there either. I want to be there, but
Just putting it out into the
All
just
good.
putting
universe.
it out there. This,
Take it back in.
Take it back in.
in. Not ready yet.
Might
No.
make it too.
No, but yeah, no, and then also good memories. Damn it, motherfucker!
Bring your eyes down.
I know. I don't know why. I don't,
You keep looking up for some
I'm
reason.
trying. Just go like this.
Is there a ghost? I know we have a
I'm
girl
like-
ghost in our house, but
Oh my god! I'm gonna put a hat on with the weight that puts my head like this.
No, because I do that too when I'm talking to somebody at work.
because I'm just thinking.
I'm looking at them and I look and I stare at the wall. I go, they're probably thinking, why are you doing that? I
Fucking
catch
hell,
myself
mother.
doing that.
Mother effe.
well, I mean, just you could look at me, Dora, but
I'm
you
trying to
know,
look at him. I'm like this. Do you remember?
And I'll be like,
Just
"Why
don't
you
look at me
staring
like
Why
the
you
way you
staring
looked
at
at Roland.
Shut
They're in
up.
that concert with Def Leppard there.
We're not
She
pouring
didn't look
sugar.
at him. He was like singing.
We're not pouring any sugar on anybody.
But yes, those are, like I said, traditions that our kids now, that we can talk about like we do now, and they can, embrace that and pass it on, because even though our family, we've lost a lot of family members and it's got a little bit smaller, we still are able to embrace that. Now we have a little great niece, which is Anna. And what do? We bring her over. We're doing an Easter egg hunt with even our grown kids.
Yeah.
Want to participate. They're in their 20s.
Yes.
We have back then was a 17-year-old.
Yeah.
You had a 21-year-old, and my girl's in the late 20s, and here they are. They all want to do the Easter egg hunt, and that's a fun part.
Yeah.
About
But that's
it.
a little bit different, though, right? The adults
Yes.
Easter egg hunt.
Yes, it is. But you gotta go with the times.
You gotta improvise.
Yeah, you have to You only have one little
Improvise.
one, and we want to have fun too. I think our generation is still feels young at heart, so we still want to do. We're still
Yeah.
willing to get down and dirty and be competitive and things like that. So
Yeah.
we even take our kids out of the way. Like, forget it. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Let me do it.
Like,
you
hurry
know?
up, move.
Yeah.
But
So
it is like we still want to be part of it, but at the same time, for me, it just feels like a little piece of heaven of that time when we're
Yes.
doing it.
yes.
So
Yes.
to me, like if we have Easter here, I think of my mom's last Easter. That was we all knew it was her last Easter, but we made the best out of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see family here in Easter, it takes me to that day.
Yeah.
And when I see you guys come over, it takes me to the time of our loved ones
Mm-hmm.
that are not here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like it's just a sign
Yeah,
of
and one of the good things is if you keep having and you keep hosting, people know if they're stuck on something or they need to go somewhere or their plans didn't make it, they could always come to our
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
Because we have different people, different family members that go to our house during different
times.
yeah. Like at Christmas, New Year's, Easter, there's always different sets of
Yeah.
families coming over.
And
And
you
that-
have friends. You have friends that come over or go to birthday
Yes.
parties, and that's the way I feel as well. Even if they're not as close as family, but they're still friends.
Oh,
That they're not bad people. You trust them, and you have a few friends that show up. For a lot of things, and that's fine. We get to know them, and they're just now part of the party tribe or
and-
whatever.
And they talk to everybody.
Yeah, they talk to everybody. They don't,
Yeah.
they're not like sitting in a corner like,
Yeah, we
whatever.
have a few of those are to me they're family.
Yeah, yeah.
Because they're been through every event
Yeah.
with us, from parties to graduation to weddings.
yeah,
So yeah, those type of friends are considered family.
yeah,
And as you see them every time, you kind of expect them to be there
yeah,
with
yes,
the family.
Absolutely. No, absolutely.
But yeah, so that's one thing I'm thankful that when I became part of this family, like I said, those tradition grew.
Yes.
It grew in that part, and that's where I get the fulfillment of, sure, come over, yes, please.
So you have anybody else, Sandra, that helps you or
That
gives you
has-
some knowledge of the way you do things?
Gosh.
Come on, Grandpa has to be there.
Well, Grandpa, yes. I realized that when Grandpa passed away, I knew Grandpa Boss was very organized, always was writing things, documenting things, researching things, always had books, notes. He was a very educated man,
Very educated.
and so
Very book smart.
yes, and I'm an organized person, like super organized. I can organize, notes and papers and documents. Just I'm organized. And so after he passed away, my dad asked me to go through some of his papers, and there was a little in the tin box with that's where all the important papers are,
Yes,
Mhm.
I
in the
saw
tin
that one.
box. And so I was going through the papers, and Jesus, I'm like, this is where I get it from. The man had different color folders. They were labeled differently. They had notes on them. What was in the folder,
Highlighted.
highlighted,
Yeah.
and like a summary of stuff. And I'm just like,
Isn't that funny how later
this is
you
my
see?
spirit animal. I didn't even know it for so long. Like I
Yeah.
knew he was, I didn't realize all those years that he was that organized.
Right, right.
And thinking back to it, of course he had to be organized, but seeing the physical thing in front of me, I'm like, well, this is where the hell I get it
Yeah.
from.
And
you
you
know?
do. Yeah. Like for me, I see it and I also see it in him. Um, and it's funny at first, but then it's like the thing of just researching. That was Grandpa Boss.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yes.
researched, he found out, he called,
Yes.
if he didn't find it by reading, he called somebody, he visited
Yes.
somebody.
That's the
He
same thing.
found an
Yes.
answer.
Yes.
And he's the same way. It could be from plumbing to the car to
Yes.
something that he has no information. He'll get information.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I
You'll
will
go
research the hell out of something. If I'm going to buy something,
Yeah.
I will look at the reviews. I will research it. I'll go online. I'll do all that to exhaust. But that's how I know I make an
remember
informed decision.
Before we had Google, we were living in Houston and we had car problems. And of course, you were in a budget, so you can afford a mechanic. And there he is reading the book.
Oh yeah, those were the Haynes book.
The Haynes book, he would
Step by step.
He would go to the library, which is smart.
Yeah.
You don't get charged for it.
Yeah.
Rent a book, read what you can do, fix the problem, take it back. And to me, the
Damn.
way I see is that's Grandpa.
Yeah, and that was the time where there was no internet, there was no Google,
No
no
Google.
Yahoo, whatever it was,
No
YouTube
YouTube.
videos. Yeah, there was none of that. So, and all we had was picture books, like how to take this part off. All right, then it jumps to like 30 minutes later. Wait a minute, what happened between that time? And we weren't able
Yes.
to see that.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was different.
Yeah, but all of that I can see that from what you got that from the being very attentive and also researching in that part in that aspect. And I also see the other values of him, which is a family man. Because no matter what, for Grandpa Boss, because they were not my grandparents, but I was adopted.
Yes, yes, you were.
And I had the honor to call them Grandma and Grandpa for 20 something years. And I saw that the title of Grandpa Boss, and he earned that title.
And he embodied it.
Yeah, because family was everything to him. He doesn't care who was upset at anybody. It was family time. You cut that off. It was family time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
another one for family was Theo Gilbert.
Oh
Theo
my
Gilbert
gosh,
was another one
yes.
that's always family because their kids were always in sports, and
Mhm.
he had them on sports, and he would go to all their games. Like I was talking to Eddie, I was chatting Eddie on Facebook, and he was goes because he saw Brianna at one of her games,
That's
because he
pretty
was over
cool.
there,
Mm-hmm.
and she goes, "Oh, are you here?" I'm like, "No, Brianna wants me to go, but I keep telling her she's the coach.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're not the player no more. You're the coach." And she keeps wanting to say. And Eddie said when he was a coach, his father would go to every game. And I'm like, "Oh man, now you're making me feel bad."
Right.
Now. I'm
Right.
like, "Come on."
Yeah.
But
And
that's how Theo Gilbert was.
Yeah.
I can picture that because that's who he was. And that Theo Gilbert, to people that don't know, that's his godfather. So he was very honored to have his grandpa Boss and his godfather, his role models, because when it comes to husband and family, he would always talk about Theo Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
So do you remember, Sandra, how Theo Gilbert loved my aunt? I'm sorry, our aunt Thea Mary. when he would get tipsy.
Yes. Oh God. Well, when he gets tipsy, I remember
The
the shirt
love
would
would
come
flow
off.
out.
The shirt would
Yes,
come
the
off
shirt would
first,
come out,
and then he'd
yes.
still have his suspenders on.
Yes.
Oh my
And then he
gosh.
would just like hug on her. She's like, stop it. But yes, but he loved her. He loved her. He loved her. He loved her.
Oh, he did. To
He
this
loved
day,
her.
he has been a widow.
And he
never-
was always say, Maria,
Maria.
Maria, I love you. He was drunk because he got drunk easy.
Yes.
Like 2 or 3
him
beers.
and my
he drank.
dad. Yes. Well, my dad would purposely, just get him to that point, and
And that the reason is I remember your dad talking about that. One time I heard him talking to Theo Rocky. He's remember Gilbert, remember 2, 3, yeah, he's done. So they took some joy out of that,
Yes.
making fun of him.
But do you remember that Theo Gilbert would be drunk and he'll be crying to Tia Mary, like, I love you, Maria.
The Mexican
I
drunk.
love you." Like, he was just everything to her. It was just,
and then if you didn't hear him anymore, look, because he might be like asleep on the chair.
passed out somewhere.
Yeah, on the
Yes.
chair, just like asleep on the chair.
But he was a very, I guess,
He
sentimental.
was a fun drunk. Yeah, he
He's-
was a fun,
that's
sentimental
cute.
drunk. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember them. I think I only saw that one time. Like I said, I got to the family when everybody was already getting older. So I just saw that one time, and then the rest I heard of everything else. But
Oh my God, it was always such a trip. It was just,
Yep.
and I forgot about the shirt part
Yes, he'd take
until you
his
said,
the
and
suspenders.
he'd have his suspenders on
I didn't,
still.
I didn't
yes,
see that.
he loved those. He still wears suspenders to this day.
Yeah.
I just remember like a wife beater or something, like
I
a
don't-
white one.
Yeah.
Well, that means he took his other shirt off by
Yeah,
that time.
he took something off already, and he
Yeah.
loved Elvis. He loves Elvis.
Oh my gosh, big Elvis fan.
And Washington.
I never
The
forget.
Washington
The
Redskins, right?
Redskins don't
Oh
mess.
my gosh,
Yeah.
the Redskins, and they're loyal fans to the Redskins. All their grandsons, grandkids, kids, they were very loyal.
Yeah.
And I remember your sister Anna, cousin Anna, they had gone to a trip somewhere. It was still Gilbert, Elsie, and Manuel. And she said she had the honor to sit in the back seat with Theo Gilbert.
Oh, okay.
And she said, guess what we talked about all the way to, I guess maybe they went to Memphis, I'm thinking.
Yeah.
She goes, Elvis Presley.
Elvis
She
Presley.
goes, all the way. Do you know about this song? Do you know about this movie? She goes, all I can tell you, that's all he talked about all the
Awesome.
way. So I'll never forget that. I said, well, you were informed.
Yes, you were informed. You got educated.
What about our cousins? What influences have they gone on you?
Well, growing up with
The Reeses.
yes,
The
the
Reeses.
Reeses, and also coming, to San Antonio. When we lived in Houston, we'd come over to San Antonio for holidays and stuff, and so I was around all of y'all all the time. And
How many boys?
It's too many. I don't know, 12, 14.
you-
I don't know. Just
Imagine the only girl.
I was the
'cause-
only girl for a long time until Anna came along, and Rachel and my tío Tone and their family were always in the service traveling,
overseas or something.
right? And so
Man.
I think the biggest influence from y'all,
Y'all.
was
Let me see. That's
just
3, 6.
the BS. Like I can
The
like
BS.
I can detect BS coming a mile away. Like I can. It's just and I'm not like I don't know. I can shoot the shit with people. Like I'm not a girl that has to be with the girls or guys. I get along with all the guys and
That's about like, I'm just doing the math. That's about 10 boys that you grew up with.
at least 10.
Wow. And they're
Yes.
all different ages.
Wait, so you say we bullshit a lot?
Yes, y'all are a
No,
bunch
we
of
were very
bullshitters.
educated
They're probably-
individuals.
I guess from what I can see, they probably taught you not to be gullible and to have thick skin, probably,
Well, growing up,
and to be a survivor.
well, yes, a survivor of light abuse.
To not
Of
not
light
starve.
abuse. Yes, yes, not to starve, but they also,
I like that pause. Like,
yes,
you had a flashback.
they also, in a way, kind of hindered me a little as far as not being overprotective, but I was sheltered.
Okay.
When all through school,
Well,
any
you're like
school-
only child then,
any
right?
school I
Yeah.
went to, I was with one of my cousins in the school.
Mm.
Every school I went to, I had Roland forever. Then then coming here to San Antonio, I had Eddie, and So and Jerry, and so there was always someone looking after me, and I was always kind of like taken care of, and so there's a lot of things I was sheltered from, and and a guy that I dated for a long, long time would say, "I can't believe you're that naive to not know this or not have seen this," and I'm like, "No,"
Yeah.
like, and I grew up with a father who was very strict, and I said, like drugs and things like that. I never did drugs. I go that whole like, this is your brain on drugs.
Yep.
Any
Right.
questions? That shit worked on me. Like I all my dad had to do was yell at me, and I was just like,
That was it.
crumble. Yeah. So I was very scared of him. So I did what I was supposed to do. In high school, I was the one with the car. So I was the DD. And so,
You were
yeah,
the responsible
I
one.
was the responsible one. Yeah. So it's hard for me now with my daughter because I can't relate with going through, your college years and being
Yeah.
drunk and whatever and woo, because
Party
that
and
wasn't
have
that
fun.
wasn't me. I mean, I did that later in my 20s and my 30s, but not early on.
You did it in your
Yeah.
adult life, but
Yeah,
you
my
can't-
adult life,
You can't
yes.
say my college years.
Yes, in my adult life. Yes,
And
for
that's
sure.
one thing with our families is that there was no drugs.
No,
Nobody did drugs.
no.
I mean, marijuana because it's most places legalized now, but yeah, nobody did drugs.
Yeah.
I mean, we drank alcohol, but
Yeah.
there were drugs was like non-existent.
Well, okay, hold on. You got to pump the brakes on that one because I remember. I mean, God, I had to be young because we're in Houston, and this was. I don't know if we lived in. I don't know where we were, but we were not at the house that I remember last. But I remember my dad maybe smoking some pot with friends and stuff, and I remember seeing these roach clips or something. They were like little metal clips. And I remember seeing those with the feather on it or something, right? And so I would see sometimes him using that, like smoking a joint or something. And so growing up, and again, this is where my naiveness comes. I didn't think any much about it. In my early 40s, I'm at church and, they have, people, vendors come and sell religious articles, whatever,
Oh
after
my God, you
church.
said it, didn't you?
And
Oh
so
my gosh,
You
I
said
can't where's
it.
it going?
and so they had a
Oh my God.
metal attached to one of those little clips that I used to see my dad use to smoke weed, a joint with.
Oh my
And I thought,
goodness.
they're actually selling roach clips here.
But
I
they're
couldn't
called,
believe it.
but
I found out that they're called rosary holders, rosary placeholders.
Oh my God.
they're also called alligator clips. Alligator clips. That's what they're called.
I
That is the
didn't know.
proper name.
And
I
she's
didn't
all
know.
like, "Are we doing this?" Is
So
this
because I
legal?
grabbed it and I told the lady, I go, "Excuse me, what is this used for?" And she goes, "It's a rosary placeholder." I'm like,
So my dad prayed the rosary.
so my dad had one with feathers.
Oh yeah.
So yes.
But I wasn't talking about our fathers, that generation.
Oh,
but
that generation.
Our
You're talking about
generation.
our generation. Yeah.
Our generation.
Yeah, but that was funny though, because I was like,
Because
what
even to
the
this
hell?
day, I mean, I don't hear, well,
No.
everybody else
Yeah,
didn't hear
no.
none of that.
Yeah,
none of that
that's
from
true.
anybody.
You know what?
Drugs
You're
was-
right. Our generation, we didn't.
Because our generation was, if you did drugs, like you said, it
Yeah.
was in your brain that it was bad. And if
Yeah.
you were on drugs, you were bad. There was no in between.
And I think, and I think a lot of our family too, we were, there was a lot, well, the boys, when I grew up with the Reeses, they were in sports a lot. So
True.
that wasn't something that was in their,
Yeah, and that's true
Wheelhouse.
because that was our household area.
yeah.
Baseball was our life.
Yeah.
So sports.
Yeah.
There was no time to be unhealthy.
Yeah.
From my father, my mom married him. He was a baseball player. He became a coach. My brothers played. I played. So there was no time for that. Plus, my mom would inspect whoever came home, and she would literally be at the door waiting. My brothers would walk in. They had a time, and she would say, "I'm glad you're home." Give them a hug. You know what she was giving them a hug? She could smell them.
Uh-huh.
And then I remember witnessing this, and she says, "Now look at me.
Oh, wow.
Let me
Follow
see
my
your
face."
eyes." No, she
Wow.
said, "Let me see your eyes." And she goes, "Okay, breathe."
Oh,
Damn!
wow.
Yes. So my
That's
brothers
crazy.
knew she was not playing.
Hardcore.
Yes, as I'm saying, They didn't do it because I know it was. They knew
Yeah.
that they played sports. In other words, they didn't want to ruin that, but at the same time, respect.
Right.
I didn't do the smoking stuff because the same thing. Just remembering that, but also I got away with a little bit, as in with my what is it called, the wine cooler stage,
The wi- the wine
because
cooler steak.
Seagram 7, what was
Bartles
it?
and James.
yes, because my mom was a bit older at that time.
Zimas.
Oh, what you
Zimas.
Ugh,
She
gross.
didn't have me do that little blow on me, but anyway.
Dorita.
No, I did the opposite. I would get a bag of chips and eat chips. So if I did do it, it would smell like chips.
So that's where your dad got it. The chips and sodas.
Damn.
Chips and sodas. Do you know the story
You
about
heard
the
it
chips
here,
and
folks.
soda?
Nope.
Oh my gosh, my dad. I love my dad. But as a husband, he was just very charismatic. That's all I'm going to say. So sometimes money was missing from the account, $200. And back then, $200 was a big deal
Yeah.
in the 80s
Mm-hmm.
or late 70s. And he would say, well, it was gas. And he called me Dorita. He goes, and I bought her chips and sodas. And I'm thinking in my head,
Like,
how much chips and soda? And my mom would say, pues cuánto? Like, how much chips
Yeah.
and soda did you buy her? And he goes, oh, and gas. And she's like, it's not adding up. Like,
yeah.
So now I say, well, my God, hey, chips and sodas, and God, like
So
chips and sodas,
that's our joke now.
Chips
Like,
and
chips and
soda.
sodas.
he'll be like,
yeah.
oh, can you transfer me, this so this can clear? I go, hey, what happened? He goes, chips and soda.
Chips and sodas, they cost, you add them up. But you didn't get it till we were older, right? You're like,
Yes.
now I know why he kept saying chips,
Chips
and
and
soda.
I
soda.
would think, like, how many freaking Cheetos and soda did I have? No, he was saying juice, apple juice, because I love apple juice back then. I'm like, how much freaking apple juice and chips did I eat?
Mhm. You got a lot.
And gas. So, yeah, that was his excuse, when money was missing.
Do you have anybody on your mom's side that you could
Yes. Well, besides my grandmother Nora, whom I loved and adored, and my daughter's named after her. It was also my aunt and uncle. I have one aunt and uncle on my mom's side, and they were and are epitome of loyalty and family first. So again, more instilled in me that you take care of your family. You're going to be there for them no matter what. Consistent love, unconditional love. That's
Yeah.
what they have shown me.
And I remember you talking about an aunt named Linda as well.
My Tia Linda as well. My Tia Linda, she was my mom's aunt, and she when my mom was growing up and my aunt and uncle, she lived with them for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we moved to Houston, she moved to Houston and she lived with me and my sister and my mom and dad for a long time. Then when we moved to San Antonio, she stayed behind and lived with my uncle and his family and helped raise those girls.
Mm-hmm.
So she didn't have any kids. She didn't had a job, so she would spoil us.
So you guys I remember that. It would be like, this is my Aunt Linda
Mm-hmm.
and things like that. So that was
Yeah.
really nice.
Yes. Yes, unconditional love. Well,
because I remember the Aunt Linda, like, oh, where's Sandra and Anna? Oh, they're at the Aunt Linda. They're at the Aunt Linda.
yes. Dear Linda, she instilled a lot of things in me. Whether it was good, I don't know. I think she made me a little OCD. I don't know, because she was always
OCD, really?
well, because she always it was her thing. We had chores, and she would say vacuum, and if you didn't vacuum in a way where it made the
Oh, I see.
lines, then you're not going to go shopping with her. Okay, you're
Oh
not
my
going to go do
God.
this. If you didn't clean a
remember
certain
those
way or
lines.
you didn't dust a certain way, you're not going to go shopping. You're not going to get this. You're not going to get that. So that was she was incentivizing us.
Hey, but she installing you to be clean, to
Yes,
clean and
to
dust.
be clean. But my God, yes, she was very particular how everything was. It needed to be in a certain way or a certain place. And
Hey, that's where you get that from, because I can see that.
yes, to the day she died, she had. I mean, her house. She loved butterflies, and she had butterfly
Aw.
figurines everywhere.
Oh.
And so if you went to her house and you touched oh, look how pretty, you put it back. Even if you put it back in the exact same spot, she would go right behind you and just move it a little. Like
It's
it was just
okay.
her. It needed to be the way she wanted it.
Right.
But yes, she gave me the almost the OCDness of being neat and
Oh, yeah.
clean, which is not a bad thing, but You know,
Yeah.
sometimes it's to your ultimate, like, I can't see things crooked. I have to correct. I'm at, you know, I work, I
Yeah,
go to
you
work and
can't
I'm,
let it go. Like it has to be just, it has
yes,
to be perfect.
at work, I'm in the hallway at school and I'm adjusting pictures, you know, because I can't
Oh
walk by
wow.
something crooked.
No, I don't do that.
No,
No.
I do. I
No.
do. It drives me crazy.
Now you said about cleaning. Growing up, my mother, to this day, my mom still loves to clean. She likes to clean. And I remember we were talking about the lines of the carpet, where that's how back then they could tell if you vacuumed or
Yes.
not.
Yes.
'Cause a lot of people had carpets, but now we have those robots that go
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yes.
So it's kind of hard to tell if you vacuumed or not.
But the carpets were thicker too, like a more
Yes, they
shaggier,
were.
so
They were
you could
thick.
tell. Now,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, they were real thick.
And then if we make the mistake and say we were bored,
Yeah.
my mother will make us take everything out of the closet, fix it all back,
Oh,
and then
wow.
we would start wiping the walls. Every wall in the room, every house, will be wiping the walls. We would do that every time
You're like,
we do that.
so did you stop saying you're bored?
Oh yeah.
You're like,
Oh my God. She would take everything out of our drawers and we had to put it back nice and back
Wow.
over there.
damn.
Yeah, so that house was always clean. We'll clean the boards, the boards,
baseboards?
the baseboards. We'll clean all those in there. We would clean a lot of stuff in there. So we had to make sure we were not bored at all.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I think I got away with a little bit more because I was the youngest one of. We're five, so I was the youngest one. My sister was 10 years older, so she was like the mini mom. So she was the one cleaning and
Yeah.
helping my mom because my parents worked. My brother was like the second dad, so I think between everybody, they took care of it until
Dora's like, I don't know. I didn't lift a
until
finger.
like they
Dora's
all
like, I
left.
didn't lift a finger.
Until I was 11. And then after that, I became an only child, and I'm like, where'd you guys go?
And guess who started cleaning?
Yes, so she had
Yes.
to learn how to do stuff.
I had to learn how to do stuff.
But yeah, no. So those are things that we learned from our parents, you know, and as it is, even that me learning later, like when we got married, I didn't know how to cook. So my brothers were the ones that were my my guinea pigs. So it was my brother that moved back, that he came from the university. He came back home, and the other brother was in transition. He was in Houston, working at the Department of Corrections.
Uh-huh.
So he was already married then, I think, and he was staying by his mother-in-law. So he would come a lot to my mom's, which is 4 houses down. So I was already almost my mid-20s. I wanted to learn how to cook, and I started trying how to make rice. And it took me a while. One of my brothers would just eat and basically just go, like, want to spit out. He goes, "What is this? It's salty." I'm like, "Oh, I put
Too much salt.
Rice.
Noted.
It's rice.
Noted.
My second oldest brother taught me how to make spaghetti.
Was that Raul?
That was Raul. So it's funny. I'm thinking it was my older brothers that taught me how to cook because he taught me how to make spaghetti, which I thought it was easy. After that, I was all like, okay, I can make spaghetti.
Uh-huh.
He taught me how to make patties. He puts the ground beef and you do this. That was Raul.
Wow.
And
good.
Joe was the one that he was just the guinea pig.
He was just a guinea
You're gonna
pig.
eat that, and he would tell me if it was better or not. But yeah, so yeah, you gotta thank my brothers versus me
know.
to having anybody else teach me. It was them.
But what's weird is that there's a lot of, like, your brothers are older now.
Yes.
So when I remember going to your house for Christmas, New Year's, and other things, but now they're older, so now they're in their own families now
yeah,
for most of the holidays.
yeah. My brothers, you gotta think they're 12 to 14 years older than me, so they're in their mid 60s and late 60s right now.
So yeah, they have their own traditions with their own families now. And I think in Christmas Day, some of your brothers come over.
Yeah, and Christmas
That's one of the
Eve,
things they do.
one comes over, which is usually Joe, Raul sometimes, but if he doesn't come, then my older brother definitely comes in Christmas Day, and then the other one that doesn't come comes in Christmas Day. So no matter what, they still come.
Right,
Christmas Eve or
right.
Christmas Day.
Right.
So
That's good.
And it's kind of like with you and with Alex and Nora, how you have them we had to go pick up Alex
Mm-hmm.
to spend the holidays with you guys.
Well, yes, and I think that stemmed from being divorced and then having to share holidays with my ex-husband. But now that Alex lives 30 minutes away, so you know, he the kids want to celebrate with their father too. And so we pick a day and that's when we celebrate, whether it be Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And so we work that out with their dad and stuff like that because they have siblings with my ex-husband has two younger kids with his wife. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
You just make it work either day,
Yes.
and that's the tradition still continues
Yes,
with that.
absolutely.
And now we have our daughter now has her own house, so that's kind of a tricky one now. Yeah, we're still trying to maneuver that one since she just bought her first house. So we spent Christmas there, New Year's there. So we'll see how it goes next year and to see how we get everybody together.
Yeah. And they just bought their first home, so she just wanted to have it for the first time
Yes.
there. And she just said, eventually come back here. And then when they have a family, I'm pretty sure we'll go in the morning so they don't have to take a little one out.
Yeah.
And I wanted to be a little bit more lenient about it because even though I love the holidays at my mom, but it was always a little touchy thing if any of my brothers wanted to have it at their house. And out of respect, she said, please have it at my house on Christmas Eve. And once I pass away, y'all can decide, where y'all want it. And they did. They kept that of respect for her. So when she brought it up, I didn't want her to feel like a little, I don't know, like we're just gonna just turn her down. So I just said, yeah, let's just do it this year, and then next year we have it back because of that. But and as a mom, of course, I want to continue to have them
Yeah.
here, but I don't mind taking turns,
Yeah.
just to have a little bit more peace, when
Yeah.
it comes to that.
No, I understand.
How do you feel about that?
I don't know. It was weird.
It was weird.
I don't know because it's like you're going to your daughter's house, but you're like, because I'm used to having it here all
Yeah,
the
I
time.
know.
I used to have Christmas Eve here, and it always gets full here. And again, we have some members of your family come over, and our cousins and all that. We come over, our circle comes over, and
And I think she saw that too, because she said it this year. She's like, she goes, we'll just go back to your house next year. She just, like, again, it was just one-time thing.
because he actually lives like 20, 30 minutes away from
20.
everybody, 20 minutes away from everybody. So when you get like her brother takes about 25, 30 minutes just to get to our house and then go another 20 minutes.
Yeah. That's,
And especially when he drinks too, because
Yeah.
he still drives no matter what, even though he has multiple drivers, but he's the one who still does all the driving.
Yeah. Well, his sons, though, last time, they drove. Now that they're older, they'll drive. They'll take care of that. But yeah, I mean, it's like we want to continue to have the house feel like anybody can come at any time on Christmas Eve. If you're going to go visit your family member, but they're done early or you just don't want to be there, you know what? You can get here at 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Like, we're here.
Yeah.
And that's what we want to continue with that, tradition.
Well, thank you for listening to our traditions and hanging out with us today. I'm Sandra.
I'm James,
And now I'm Dora.
and we're Unfiltered Circle.
See ya.